The King Who Burned His Throne, Part 1. Ash and iron, they say kings are born, but some are forged in the city of Durnhold, where the sky weeps soot and the streets never sleep clean. There was once a child no one claimed. No surname, no father, only a woman with hollow eyes and a threadbare blanket held too tightly around a newborn already crying in silence. That child was Kaelric, the boy who would one day sit upon a throne made of obsidian and sin. But before he ruled, before the world bowed or bled, he was just a boy, a shadow in the gutter, a ghost in the market, a name that echoed without meaning, until the fire gave it one. The streets remember Kaelric's earliest memory was hunger, not the kind that groaned in your stomach and faded by dusk, but the kind that sharpened teeth, that made you see meat in motionless pigeons and warmth in other people's coats. A hunger that turned boys into beasts and mothers into thieves. His mother had no name he remembered, only a voice that always sounded tired. She sang to him when the blood on her knuckles wasn't fresh. And when she didn't return from the alleys one day, no one went looking in. No one ever did. He was 6 when she vanished. 6 when he first stole from a dying man's pocket. 6 when the gutter rats fought him for crusts of mold. And he learned that everything in Durnhold had teeth, even the shadows. But Kaelric wasn't afraid of shadows. He lived in them. By9, he had already been stabbed twice. The first was a dull shiv in his thigh, delivered by a boy over a stale onion. The second, cleaner, was in the ribs, from a guardsman who didn't like the way Kaelric looked at a merchant's coins. That he never cried, not because it didn't hurt, but because the city listened for weakness. And weakness was death. The godless child, they called him Ash Boy, because his face was always streaked with the soot of burnt wood and chimney drifts. Because he slept near the crematories, where warmth leaked from dying fires and the smoke masked his scent from dogs, and worse, No temple took him in. The priests of the White Flame turned him away, too ragged, too quiet. And when he stole a crust from their altar, they beat him with iron rods in front of laughing clerics. That a lesser child would have begged for mercy, for God's name, for justice. Kaelric spat blood and said nothing. He didn't believe in gods, that he believed in knives. The pack at 11, Kaelric had a gang. Not one he joined, but one that formed around him. There was Yari, the one-eyed brute who never spoke but crushed a grown man's windpipe with bare hands. Then Selda, a girl with fire-scarred arms and a silver tongue. And little Ren, who didn't speak above a whisper but knew every back door in the eastern quarter. They were orphans, bastards, burned, forgotten, and Kaelric led them without speaking more than a sentence a day. He didn't